Hi guys, we are AreYouKnitWorthy. This is your podcast for knitting and all the things we love to do. We're in the upstate of South Carolina. My name is Monica. I dye yarn. My brand is Yarn Experiments and she's my friend.
I'm Danny and I'm just an obsessive knitter and I like to think I'm good at sewing, but I'm not.
But she's good at interior designing.
And this is episode 4 and we have a special guest with us today.
And I'm Kathy. Hello.
And oh, sorry, go.
Sorry. Kathy is our friend from Knit Nights, and she's pretty good at all the knitting things and color and choosing the good yarn for your project. We just love her. Whenever we have a question, we run to her.
She's our consultant.
Yeah, she's our knitting consultant.
Knitting consultant.
Yeah, she's pretty fun. And last episode, we were talking just a little bit about Sockmadness and how I wanted to do it this year, but I decided I'm not because I don't want to fail terribly like I did last year. So I'm just not going to do it. Are you going to do it?
No. I just have too many whips and too much stuff going on to have the time to do it. I feel like I need to prepare for Sockmadness and have a certain amount of whips done so that I can focus on Sockmadness.
Yeah.
But it's a knitting goal.
I think you need the good time to honor and respect the competition because I think it's really worth it if you have the time to do it. But our friend Kathy has done it for several years, and well, that's why we brought her in today because she's pretty awesome at it.
So I started out on Sockmadness 9, which would have been 4 years ago, so 2014. That was the first time I found out about it and that it was a thing. So that was...
And how do you find out about it? Because there's a lot of people that don't know about it. Like, I think if it hadn't been for you and knowing that you do this, I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, I try and enable as many people as I can to do
Well, that's good.
Sockmadness. I'm constantly recruiting to try and get more people. So I found out about it through Ravelry. There is a forum for Sockmadness specifically. Mm-hmm. And when I signed up for Ravelry, I did it in 2011 and immediately kind of was drawn into the forums. So I found out about a lot of stuff that way. Mm-hmm. And Sockmadness definitely was one that when I saw it, was really intrigued by it.
Did you like knitting socks before Sockmadness? Was that something that you knitted a lot?
No. So before Sockmadness, the first sock that I ever knit was, I don't have it anymore because I had to send it off to kill someone. So
watch out. Watch out.
So the very first sock I ever knit was for an Assassinate, which is a really fun competition if you can find one to get involved in. Where everyone knits the same pattern. You all start at the exact same time. Someone organizes the group so that everyone has a target. And you knit your sock. When you finish the pair of socks, you send them to your target, which effectively kills that person. That person mails you their half-finished socks, which you then take over along with their target. And you knit through until you're the last person standing, and then that person is the winning assassin, so to speak. Did you win
that time?
I did not. It was my first ever pair of socks,
okay.
so I did kill at least 2 people off, I think.
Wow.
That's
made
pretty
it.
good.
I survived it through 2 rounds, and I do still have those socks that were sent to me to finish off. And it was really, really fun. So that was my intro to sock knitting, and I was hooked.
That's a good intro.
I was just, I was completely hooked.
And it was an intro also, like, not only to sock knitting, but to fast knitting and competing, right?
In competition.
So you had, like, all this...
Yeah.
Do you do special stretches?
I do. I know. I actually, my husband was in Aikido when we were first married, and so he knows a lot of these stretches for your hands and wrist, fingers, things like that. And so he taught me a bunch of them to do so that I could sit there, and kind of make sure I wasn't going to injure myself in my competition.
That is so fun.
But yeah, that was the thing that really got me into kind of non-traditional knitting stuff.
Yeah.
Sort of not just knitting for the finished object.
Right. But knitting to kill someone.
Right.
That sounds really fun.
Knitting to kill someone. So that was how I got into socks. Found Sockmadness shortly after that.
Nice.
And then decided this sounds like something I absolutely have to try.
Cool.
So do you have to pay for Sockmadness?
You do not.
Okay.
No.
Let's go back a little bit and know Kathy a little better because we know her good enough, but we want you guys to meet her a little bit better because she's pretty awesome, as I said. How about you tell us, when did you learn to knit?
I learned to knit in 2009. My good friend MJ, back in Michigan, was a knitter, and I was really interested in it. I knew that my grandmother had knit growing up, but she had never taught me, and my mom did macrame. So she didn't knit,
But she did
fiberworks. She was a painter as well as really artistic. So I was crafty growing up, but never with knitting. And my grandmother had recently shown me all of her knitting needles and everything that she had. And
do you have something of your grandma you want to share with us?
I do. I brought, so my grandma gave me all of her needles, her straights and her circulars, and a big bin of yarn, which I have to say most of the yarn went away because it was a lot of really chemically acrylic, like from the 1960s. It was some interesting yarn, so I used a little bit of it, and then I kind of donated the rest. But
did you knit your first project on her needles?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So
I
cool.
used this set. So this is a lovely case.
It is lovely.
This is
We
very,
saw it already.
very obviously from, I think, the late 60s, early 70s, potentially. This is a set that she gave me that says, "Congratulations, you've moved into your own tote case knit shop, complete with everything you need to knit except the yarn." And this is a boy needle master kit. It is on a lovely red shag background.
I hope it's
That
shag.
is so awesome.
And
And you have instructions here?
yeah.
That is pretty cool.
And I did use these to start. So this is what I initially knit my first project on. I called up Boy because they are still a manufacturer of needles.
Do they still make this?
Not they make it not in this lovely case,
Oh,
but they do still
Not with
make
the
it.
shag
I was
rug.
like, I'm gonna get my hands
But
into one of
they do
those.
still make this kit of circular interchangeables, and I had to get a replacement set of one of these needles because they were kind of chewed up on the tips, and they still had them.
Cool.
And so I bought the replacement needle tips to just flesh out the set, and I no longer use it. So that
What brand did you move to?
well, I tried out a lot after that, and then I ended up kind of settling on Addie's, and I really like a slick needle. I'm a very tight knitter, so anything that is not slippery is a bear for me to work with. So usually that's the brand that I'm knitting with. With socks, I've kind of expanded out, and I have the Chaigu mini set that I use a lot as well. Because I like the really flexible cables. So, but those are the ones, and that is where kind of, I got really started knitting with grandma's stuff. And,
But MJ taught you?
MJ taught me. She brought over a giant skein of bulky and 2 really big wooden needles, and she taught me to make the knit stitch, and she taught me to purl by pretending I was poking myself in the eye, which I will always remember.
Poke yourself in the eye.
Right. And so, that's how I learned, and I immediately made a scarf for my husband. That was the very first project that I took on, and I've never stopped.
Nice.
So, you said her name was MJ, right?
Yeah.
So, is she like an obsessive knitter, or is she just like a knitter? Or did you like...
MJ is, I love her to pieces. She's got, her very first project that she ever knit was a full-on baby sweater for her son. Like,
oh my gosh.
Not one to creep into a craft
Yeah.
lightly. It was like, no, I'm going to make this. And so she definitely knits. She crochets a lot too, so she's super crafty as well, and she raises pigeons.
Pigeons.
Oh,
That's
Does she make them little coats?
little fun
Pigeons,
fact.
those pigeons that fly with things and bring them to other houses?
No, I think she just has pigeons, but I think she rescued a couple is what it was. But
Cute.
yeah, so that was definitely where I got my start, and so I owe it to her for teaching me the basic stitches so that I could get going and absolutely fall in love with it
And it's
become
fun
obsessed.
to learn with a friend.
I think so. Having a knitting group.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
The social part of it, it's really fun.
I think also with our craft, like having the group, it's like a big, like the craft, there's the craft and then there's the community part of it. And I think with the fiber arts, the community part is a big part of it.
I know. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I honestly think some of my best friends have come from
Right here.
the knitting.
Yeah.
You can see it right here.
Definitely.
As illustrated. Does it get any better than Danni and Monica? I don't think so.
Like
Where I'm sorry.
I would say like my friends growing up, they weren't really knitters. Like actually they're not knitters, but as an adult, all my friends are knitters. So they'll be like, oh, are they your knitting friends? And I'm like, yeah, but now like the knitting friends are actually like friends. They're not like,
right.
They're just not knitter friends.
Yeah, they're friends.
Yep, exactly.
And what are your favorite yarn colors?
Well, all of these pieces.
Even this one.
And this
We
one
are wearing her stuff today.
Oh, so I'm a little bit. So this is yours, but on the outcast of the colors.
Right, you're not falling into my favorite color zone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Danni. Greens and blues with grays are kind of my absolute
and you can see that
favorite.
in her mug. I guess it's a pretty obvious question.
I'm a real sucker for a good greeny blue. Yeah.
What about favorite project?
Favorite project ever? Gosh. I would have to say, honestly, I think one of my favorite projects is my building blocks. Because it's so outside my comfort zone for colors. It does include
What's your favorite color?
my favorite color, but it rapidly goes a different direction. These yarns are all, this is a very long one. These yarns are all ones that I had in my stash when the Building Blocks Mystery Knit Along started. And they are a combination of a few different brands. There's a lot of Socks That Rock in here because I am frankly in love with Socks That Rock. So there's a lot of that. But this is not any place that I would normally go, and it was kind of the first one to really show me what I could do with color, and that
it's okay.
It was okay. It wasn't,
you're
it
fine.
wasn't scary.
I know. And now you love it.
And now I love it, and I combine colors all the time, and I go outside the norm and routinely combine things that I maybe, right off the bat don't think of.
I really like your I-cord on here.
Yeah,
bind
so
off. I
beautiful.
did not do the I-cord bind off on mine.
Yeah.
Because I got lazy and it was just so big. But mine
It is if you can see it, it is a 2-color I-cord bind off.
So fancy.
Yeah, super fancy. So I just
yours
really like
is
that.
changing color because it's variegated, so it looks.
Yeah,
extra.
I used this fun.
Yeah, and did you put this? Was this
white line? No, that's not in the pattern.
Yeah, that's yours, right?
That's my modification.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted my I-cord to really be showed off.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I'd say that's kind of one of my favorites. I love wearing this one. I wear it wrapped around and then crossed and tied behind my back, so it's almost, I don't know, it's almost like a shirt kind of. I'm not that adventurous. I would never not wear a shirt under it, but that's how I wear it when I wear it out, and I do just really enjoy it. So
yeah, I remember you took that one to SAF, and everybody stopped you to ask you, wait, what is it? Is it? And people recognized the pattern. Some people did, some people didn't.
I did, and I felt bad about it a little bit because when I was at SAF, a lot of people hadn't finished theirs yet, so I felt like I was kind of a walking spoiler that day.
No, but was it? Oh,
no, but all the clues
came out.
The
right
clues
when...
had been released,
yeah,
so I wasn't. But it had literally, I think it had been, just within the last couple days. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
no, don't feel guilty. I think it was great that you wore it, and I remember you also wore your socks, and we showed those. We'll come back to them, but she also wore these socks that are the same yarn, if I am not mistaken.
They are, they color coordinate.
Yeah.
And one of them has an orange top, and one of them has a blue top. So I was really.
It was really cool.
So are socks like your favorite thing to knit?
I go back and forth on socks. I kind of get spurts of socks, and of course Sockmadness helps with that because you're knitting so many of them. I waffle between socks and shawls kind of now, being my favorite things to knit. The shawls, initially I never knit. I couldn't see the point in them. I didn't.
They're such great accessories.
Well, you know what? I was thinking this yesterday, and I think I discovered myself as being a process knitter because I've heard so much the term of, are you an object knitter or are you a process knitter? And I think I'm a process knitter because I sometimes really don't care what the end object looks like, as long as I'm having fun. And that's why also I have so many projects out, because that's why I really enjoy. I enjoy making the things. Yeah. I don't really give a care, and this is a big truth out there. I don't care if I'm gonna finish it. I don't. I think that's
we
why
all realize that you don't finish projects.
That's good. We know that about you.
But I like it. Like, I like buying more yarn and starting more things because that's why I enjoy it, and I'm just gonna live that way.
So how many whips do you have on
right now?
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know, but if priorities, I have 3 on the go that I'm really working on, which is my Estellaire, the Zweig, and the Testnet. Right. And then I have probably like 5 pairs of socks that are there. I'm not touching them right now because I don't have time for that right now. I have my Hohi Locatelli, which must be first priority, but it's not. But it's there.
Oh, your starting point.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in the same.
And I have no. I have the Amazing Technicolor sweater. I have my Veronica sweater. I have the other timber sweater.
So like 12, like a dozen things.
Probably.
I think once you finish things, I think 15. Once you finish something.
But I did finish that Glam Lamb. Like I'll finish 1 or 2 things. Like
But I think when you finish, like especially like with the swag or zwag. I can never say it right.
Swag?
Yes. Like, that's such a satisfying knit because it fits so beautifully on anyone. And so I feel like when you finish something, you're like, you eventually get like excited about your finished projects. And
I do get excited when I finish something. I have finished things. It's just that's not my ultimate goal in life.
Oh.
I'm sorry. All right, let's go back to Kathy.
No, I get that. I was just asking because I think we all kind of are on the same page with whips.
I have a lot of whips.
Because I'm at 11 right now. That's how many things I have active on my needles. I'm not a monogamous knitter.
Neither am I.
I will
I'm just monogamous with men.
I will start. Which is good.
Yeah, that'll be bad.
I start stuff up just whenever I get the urge to start stuff up.
Yeah.
And I do that consistently. I always have that many things live. Some of my stuff is really quick and I'll finish it in like a week.
But she does finish stuff, as you can see. Like,
I do. I finish things. Yeah. This and all of that. So yeah, I do love finishing stuff out, but I don't get stressed about how long something's been on my needles, I guess.
I get like in splurts where I get like stressed, like, oh my god, I have so many whips, I really need to finish some stuff. And so then I go into like this phase of like, okay, I'm finishing this one, I'm gonna finish this one, I'm gonna finish this one, and then all of a sudden I'll cast on like 3 or 4 projects. But this weekend I was going through my stuff and I was like, oh, I have 8, and then all of a sudden I'll find like a random project and I was like, oh, here's another one and here's another one.
Yeah.
But now that you're using Ravelry.
Yes. Now that I started.
You'll be able to tell how many whips you have.
But I really, like, honestly, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've recorded anything in like 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while because I used to check your page and then I gave up checking your page.
There's nothing there.
There was nothing there.
Yeah, I guess I know who to stalk and who not to stalk. Yeah. She's a good person to stalk.
Yeah.
Not her. But now she is.
Honestly, I look at Ravelry like if a tree falls in the wood type of thing. Like if it's not in Ravelry, did I make it? Like it has to be there. It has to be there for it to be legitimate for me mentally. So everything I do is on Ravelry, and I'm Moxie Waffles is my name.
Oh yeah.
On Ravelry in case anybody wants to go look through stuff.
She has great notes.
If you want to go stalk her.
If you want to stalk me, that's my name.
Yeah. So your first sock was what? The one of the
The Assassinate, yeah, which was the pattern was called Candlepower, which they were supposed to look like little flames.
Do you have it on Ravelry?
I do.
Okay, I'll just put it in the show notes so people can go look at it.
Yeah, and it was in a really pretty purple self-stripey kind of thing that
We love purple here.
Yeah.
I feel like, were you working on that sock when I first met you, when you came?
No, because that was before I moved
no,
here.
the first time I met you, when you came to the group, you were working on that huge, really warm sweater. Like
that took me forever. Yes.
And it had that weird, like...
It had... that's also on my Ravelry page. It's a really big hooded cape that I swear weighs like 5 pounds.
Wow. What yarn is it?
It's Lion brand.
Okay.
Woolies, I think. All in gray, and it used a ton of yarn, and it goes down to like the back of my knees.
Wow.
And it's like wearing a blanket.
That's huge.
It's massive. It's absolutely
and
gigantic.
I haven't seen it. I don't think.
I'll have to show it to you.
And it wasn't like chunky yarn or something?
Yeah.
It was big. Like,
it was big.
Wow.
It was big, and I got stuck on it for like 3 weeks on a spot in the pattern I couldn't figure out. And I came to knit night with it.
Yeah.
And I had like an epiphany at knit night.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, that's why you come to knit night.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you don't have an epiphany, then there's Kathy or Anita that can help you.
Right. Helpers.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my my first sock though, was the Candlepower. Which, it's a good pattern, and it was a pretty sock.
And is the pattern out there? Like, can people get it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yep, it's still out on Rav.
Nice. Okay, well, let's get back into Sockmadness.
Okay, so we're really gonna dive into Sockmadness now. So,
What is it?
yes,
What's Sockmadness?
you give us like the definition of Sockmadness.
All right. No pressure. Sockmadness is a competition that they do once a year, and it starts at the same time as March Madness. It is a speed sock knitting competition, and there are many rounds. It is a bracket type of, just like March Madness.
Do we have like fantasy football or fantasy basketball?
Sockmadness.
Fantasy Sock Madness.
Yeah.
So you start out with a qualifying round that you need to finish in order to actually participate. So if you don't finish the qualifying round, then you don't get placed on a team. With that being said, if you finish one sock or 2 socks, if you're doing 2 at a time, through the heel, then you're considered a cheerleader. So if you're a cheerleader, then you do get to cheer everybody else who gets placed on a team on. And you get...
I didn't even get to be a cheerleader last year.
I know, you were close.
I know, it was close.
But you then get all of the patterns that are released throughout.
So the
the
patterns are for
Sockmadness.
free, right?
Yes, the designers.
For the competitors.
Yeah.
Okay.
The designers design for Sockmadness, and there's very cool designs. They do a lot of things. This is part of the reason I love Sockmadness, is that it challenges me with things that are different construction types, and
There's probably things you wouldn't pick out, right?
yeah, things that I wouldn't normally
Like go for.
or attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frankly, because some of the things when I first
Right.
saw them,
Because I remember you working on some socks and like the heel, and you were just like, I hate this.
yeah, there have been some techniques that I've been like, ow, my hands hurt,
Yeah.
or this is really tricky. But they do have the Sockmadness forum. There are a lot of people that are helpful. You're on a team with several other people, I think between 20 and 30 other people on your team. So the way that it works, once you're past the qualifying round and you get placed on a team, you're placed on a team with people who are similar speed as you. So people who finish the qualifying round in a similar time frame, or people who you send an email in to register where you tell them, maybe I have a full-time job and 3 kids at home and I dye yarn on the side.
Are you describing me?
So I'd be like, oh yeah, sounds
I'm
familiar.
just like that.
But you would share that, and they would place you on a team, maybe not quite as fast,
Right.
to give you more time to
Yeah.
actually be competitive. So each round is sort of like a gate that only so many people get through.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets smaller and smaller as the rounds progress. There's 7 rounds total. And by the time you get to the last round, there's one person on each team remaining, and those people knit against each other.
Wow.
And there are people...
So you're not knitting against your own team. Your team is knitting against the others.
At the end, but in the beginning, you are, in fact, knitting against your own team members.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because only some of you go through.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So what happens if, like, so does each round one person, a team, like, a team gets knocked off, or, like, can it be, like, 3 people didn't finish the sock, and then those 3 people drop?
Yeah.
It's not if you didn't finish the sock necessarily. It's maybe 10 people get through that round. You've got 20 people on your team, and you're not one of the 10 fastest people.
Okay.
So then you get cut out of the competition at that point.
But then you still get all the patterns, and then
Yeah.
you can cheer for other people. Like, you're still part of the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it ever, like, a whole team gets completely knocked out?
No.
No,
There's
okay.
always one person remaining.
Because
at the
that
end.
one person is going to compete with the other. But,
Yeah.
okay, so you're saying every team has different speeds. Then
Right.
Does that happen that at the end, when there's one person from each team, which you would consider everybody has a different speed,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't that make the fastest knitter of the fastest team win?
Most likely, to be honest, but not necessarily.
Okay. So has somebody
you have
from
maybe
the
just a
slower
really-
teams?
Because, like, the top few teams are really quick.
Oh, the top.
So it's not necessarily just
Okay.
the fastest
But it'd
team.
be really hard if I'm like
If
for
you're
Monica, for example, that gets put in the last team to make it all the way to the first to win.
Right. To put it in perspective,
Okay.
on the last round, those people that are winning Sock Madness are finishing a sock in less than 24 hours.
One sock.
A pair.
Oh crap!
That's crazy.
They're finishing
It's like
a
not-
That is
sock.
Sockmadness.
Like, you're just, like, not sleeping at that point.
Right.
They need a neck lamp.
And it's worldwide, right? Like
It's
people
worldwide.
from all over.
It's
okay.
people from all over the country. They stagger the times that the patterns get dropped
So
each round, so it's not unfairly
for everyone else.
an advantage for people in different time zones.
Do you, like, have your like, when do you get your pattern? Like, do you get your patterns? Oh, the pattern is dropped
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
So
What about the materials? Like, how do you know what
So-
yarn to have?
When you register for Sock Madness, there's a spec sheet that comes out, lets you know yardage, if you're gonna need things like beads. This year we need a toilet paper roll. The cardboard, that's one of our specs that we have to
So
have.
maybe you're gonna
I
make
have
pom-poms.
no idea what's gonna happen with
You're
it.
probably gonna make pom poms.
They
That would
have
be my guess.
oh, like the little ones that my grandma would wear on her ankle, the little pom-pom.
so that they tell you what you need. If you need beads, if you need tapestry needles, if you need cable needles, what yardage you need. They give you some hints of, hey, maybe don't use 2 variegateds here. Maybe use solid yarns. This would look better in this pattern type of
I
thing.
mean, that's a hint that it's gonna be a colorwork sock.
Well, yeah, they'll tell you if it's going to be more than one color, so you know what yardage you need
Right.
of the contrasting colors and things like that. So you get specs before you start. Usually I pick out yarn, and then the instant the pattern drops, I change my mind. And I end up having to go dig in my stash.
And then you
find
have to go do
something
gauge,
else.
right?
I don't gauge anymore because I've knit enough socks.
That you know what gauge goes with what.
I know what needle size is going to get me what in most instances, unless it's a crazy gauge, and then I would have to check it. But a lot of times I've done enough with that yarn. I'm a
Okay.
creature of
And
habit.
I think
so.
right now it's time for a disclosure. None of us are, like, whatever we say here can be a little bit not accurate to what the rules are for Sock Madness. There is a forum that you can go and see, and I'll put that in the show notes. So don't hold our truth to be, hey, I heard this and this is what it is. No, like, we might be making 1 or 2 mistakes. So if you want to have, like, the whole rules and how does that completely work, go to that forum because they have the truth.
And they do have a very detailed list of rules. So, and it's something that they ask everyone to please read before you register to participate.
Right.
So you understand what the requirements
Yeah,
are,
what
because
you're gonna head to.
Because it's a serious thing, which is why
you
I
have to
haven't
knit.
dove into it yet, because I know that it's like,
We should probably
Take-
conquer, dare ourselves to do it next year.
I I said that last
challenge
year.
ourselves.
I said I was going to prepare.
Join me.
Yeah.
Like I already tried last year, but I think I was.
I need to be prepared. I need to be in the
beginner.
mindset. Like I think maybe if I didn't move and like all that craziness.
Yeah, if you could stay in one city for like a year.
Yeah,
that'd
work.
be cool.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that would work. So when the pattern comes, like, and you know the time that, like, say it's going to drop at, like, 1 o'clock, are you, like, at the computer, ready with your needles, like,
you don't
yes!
know when it's going to drop.
That
Yeah, you
would
don't
put
know.
my anxiety through the roof.
Yeah.
Because I'm a high anxiety
But
person.
do you have friends that, like, let's say I'm your friend, I'm on Sockmadness, and I see, oh, it dropped, and do you text each other, like, it just dropped, go get your
Oh,
needles?
yes. The forums are hopping. When patterns drop,
Yeah.
the other forums that I'm a part of that have people that are Sockmadness,
Yeah.
they absolutely, people will be
Have you made
posting,
friends through that?
pattern has dropped. And yeah, I have. I've made friends through this. I've made friends through the Reddit knitting groups. I've made friends through.
So do you have like
know,
cyber
like-
knitting friends? That's like another.
Yeah, people that I've
layer
never
to-
met. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool.
Yep, I would say so. So that's kind of fun, and a lot of those people do participate in Sockmadness because we're all kind of crazy, I think.
And what is the farthest you've got on Sockmadness?
The farthest I made it to was round 5 of 7, and I did not make it through round 5. I got knocked out in that. That pattern was a pair of kilt hose in worsted weight, which I'm currently wearing. And I will show you these two. I made them in coordinating colors because I got knocked out. I could change the colors and finish them how I wanted.
Because you have to do strictly what the pattern says,
Yes.
right?
There's,
in order to qualify.
there's no modifying in Sockmadness.
So Monica, it'd be something really hard for me to do anyways.
So these are the kilt hose.
Those are so cute.
They are very loud in color and
So cozy looking.
so cozy, and so far I've not been brave enough to wear them in public, but
Well, you
I
kind
don't
of
know.
are right now.
Worsted weight, wouldn't they do
I'm
it?
showing them
Right.
on the internet now. So, but yeah,
Those are really cute.
Well, I'm sure they're on your Ravelry page.
they're on my Ravelry page. They are, and it's it's all worsted weight.
And when the competition is over, can everybody go and get the patterns, or is that something just exclusive to the Sockmadness participants?
Some of the designers will release their patterns for sale, I
Okay.
think, afterwards. But if you participate, obviously you get them sent to you.
Right. Yeah,
So-
but yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It's open to anybody who wants to register and attempt it.
Mm-hmm.
So
You just have to
Yeah.
register on time.
yeah, you have to
Is
register.
that time over? Do you have any idea of the
No,
date when
you
it
can
ends?
register still. You can
Till-
register through the end of February.
Okay.
It starts March
So
1st.
if our video is out by the end of February, which we don't know yet, go ahead and
Yeah,
register.
this one should be out before Sockmadness starts.
Okay.
Yeah, so it starts March 1st, and they'll drop the first pattern whenever they feel like it, and everybody will start knitting, and those rounds last 2 weeks. So you do have to finish your pair in 2 weeks.
So if you finish your pair before the end of the 2 weeks, then that's just like free knitting time until the next.
And they release bonus patterns in case you're bored and you want to knit more socks.
Of course.
Extra credit patterns.
Right. So you do have, stuff that you can keep busy with.
What would you say to knitters? Like, what are the tips you would give out to people that want to participate?
Well, kind of the same thing that I would say to anyone who's looking at knitting or anything like that. It's supposed to be fun, right?
Okay.
If Sockmadness and being under the gun for time and knitting to speed is not enjoyable for you, then Sockmadness is not a thing to try. If that sounds fun, then dive in. But that staying kind of, easygoing about it. Try not to stress out. It's game. It's supposed to be enjoyable and kind of, interacting with your team, taking breaks, stretching your wrists. Honestly, stretching your wrists, doing the whole thing. Don't hurt yourself to get the sock done. Kind of, it's those sort of things that make it more fun.
What about materials? Would you suggest that as soon as you get the list of materials, go buy everything so that you're ready?
Well, I'm a bad one to talk about materials because my sock stash will last me for years. So I don't usually buy anything for Sockmadness. I stash dye for all of it.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you have enough stash. But
Because I
somebody that
have
wants to start.
enough stash. But if somebody wants to start, then you would take the spec list.
Yeah.
And you would go.
Like I would have just to go to the store and buy.
I think that's why Monica wants to do it next year.
I want to go shopping for socks.
Because I'm gonna participate.
So you definitely, like, throughout the year, if you see a great sock yarn, you're like, I'm gonna buy this because I know eventually I'm gonna use it.
Exactly. Yeah. I always have an excuse for sock yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're really good at just telling us to buy yarn in general.
I'm really good at enabling.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Which, I mean, I'm not very hard to convince, so.
Yeah, I'm twisting your arm to buy
I think it's hard to convince you not to buy something.
Yeah.
That's
so,
hard
like,
part.
I also kind of think about it, like, if I didn't buy it, and then I think about it, and if it's like 3 days that I'm constantly thinking about it, I'm just like, I have to buy it because now I'm obsessing over it, and then I'll stop.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I'm all about that.
What about do you have a funny story about other participants that you want to mention here? Like achievements, or I don't know, like a cool story about this girl that was super slow and she got fast. I don't know.
Or what does a person get? Like if you're the winner, do you get anything, or are you just like bragging rights?
Well, I mean, if you're the winner, that's some serious bragging rights.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is some serious bragging rights.
Finished a pair in less than 24 hours. I think you should just wander into yarn shops and tell people that that's what you do.
I'm the winner of Sockmadness.
FYI, I have finished a pair of socks in less than 24 hours. Yeah, they get obviously street cred, basically, I think. And then there's a whole ton of swag that comes your way if you win. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because there's like a forum for people that want to donate stuff towards Sockmadness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you get there's fun prizes, and then throughout the whole competition, all 7 rounds, they'll give out random prizes for people that they think deserve a prize. And I remember a couple years ago, I think somebody's toddler threw their work in progress in the trash, so they couldn't find their pair of socks. And that person got a prize that round because obviously that would be terrible.
So what's the furthest that you've made it? The furthest round?
The furthest round was
5.
round 5.
Okay. Oh, did we say that right? Yeah. Sorry. So these are some of your socks that you made in Sockmadness. So
walk us through them.
Yep. So this was my first pair ever. This is before I knew what size needle and what size my foot was. So a lot larger than I needed them to be.
But also one thing, you do have to, like for Sockmadness, you have to make them one size. Everybody has to knit the same size.
There's a minimum size. You
Right.
can make them larger if you want to make them longer, which would be kind of crazy, but I think there's people out there that do it so that they can wear them. Luckily, my shoe size happens to be the requirement size for socks.
You're lucky. But if your foot's smaller, then you would put like a lifeline or something to make it smaller afterwards?
That's what some people do if they're doing top down. They'll put a lifeline where their toe would end and then finish the sock with the lifeline in, and then once the sock's finished, we'll rip them back to shorten them. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do that actually, because mine are.
That would stress me out.
This is just my foot size.
Yeah.
So yeah, this pair was this was when I was learning gauge, and this is also what used to be my really awesome sweater vest.
Oh yeah. How can I forget that?
So I made a sweater vest.
So this is Noro?
This is Noro Silk Garden sock. Self-striping, obviously.
You can actually put it up like a stocking.
You can. I like to wear them with my pants pegged and slouchy, and it makes me feel like I'm in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then you get a pair of Reebok sneakers, high tops with the Velcro.
Yeah. So yeah, this pair was a fail for sizing, but I do still wear them. But this yarn did start as a really, really lovely sweater vest. That is also on my Rav if you want to go check it out.
It's pretty awesome.
It's something. So that was the first pair. The rest of these are kind of just in order, just different ones that I picked out of different years that I liked. This was one from last year that I just really loved this pattern, the way it worked with the self-striping yarn. I thought it was kind of magical. It was also my first ever afterthought heel to keep the stripes, so I learned that was what I learned on this one, which was.
And these yarn you got it at SAF?
I did.
And I know, like the dyer.
It's Zombies Walk at Midnight.
Yeah.
is what it is.
And I'm gonna try to put this in the show notes. Because
Yeah,
I bought her yarn after seeing this sock. I bought some of her yarn because I want to make something like this someday.
Yeah, and this...
And maybe just don't finish it.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
This pair was last year's first round, the qualifier, and it was...
That's the one I didn't finish.
This is hard.
I got kicked out.
This is a hard stitch.
It was so hard,
This
man.
is a tricky
It
stitch.
looks easy. It
is
looks
not.
easy and...
Was this one of the ones that you said that your wrists were hurting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a tricky... Every one of those stitches is twisted, and it just put a lot of pressure on
And
the
this
wrist.
is my yarn. This is the Quintana Roo colorway. This is the first time I ever dyed this, and I gave it to Kathy.
I love this one. It's been worn a zillion times and washed a zillion times as well, and it's holding up really well for being a year old. But yeah, I love this color combo. I wear that one all the time.
This is one of my favorites that
Yeah.
she's ever made.
I remember you knitting this one last year and being like,
love
I want
it.
to make that sock.
So that is hedgehog and egg yolk.
Mm-hmm.
That's the yellow, and then the green is some leftover Oricania Huasco that I had in my stash from
This is also
a pair. Yep, that's
the
what
same
this
brand.
This blue is as well. I really love that yarn. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I got this yarn just because it's so pretty.
But this one, I did not expect it to turn out the way it did, which to me is a little bit like a Jamaican flag. I love these socks. I do wear them all the time. They just were a little bit brighter than I don't know how I thought they were going to be subdued with the egg yolk. I'm not sure.
There's no way. But
I did. Some
You were
reason.
really tired by the time you got to
Right.
around.
For
Yeah.
some reason, I thought that was going to work a different way. This is another set of...
that is so cute.
Last year, it was a lot of color work. And this one has the sheep and the bunnies and the little chickens in it. And then the sheep at the
I know, I love the sheep at the toe is awesome. It's just so cute.
It's so... And again, everything is in your Ravelry page, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of these patterns are out there. But that one was a fun one. That was a lot of color work. So that was
I love color
kind
work.
of a
I'm
learning
all
one.
into color work right now.
This one was one of the first slip stitch patterns that I did, where I kind of fell in love with this
That is
concept
really
of
cute.
the slip stitch, making the line down the sock, especially the two colors, striping the two colors throughout the whole sock.
That's a weird...
I like that.
This is a different heel.
yeah. What
This
feels
and that
like-
was the thing that I learned in this one. These were all short rows, and that's, you know, each one of these socks had a thing that challenged me, and this one was the heel for sure.
Okay.
Learning how to do that.
So that you've done all these different heels.
Yes.
What heel do you prefer now?
The one on this one.
Oh.
So this sock is one of my all-time favorites. It's not the best yarn choice for the sock because of kind of the weird pooling that I ended up with. The yarn itself is Socks That Rock, which it is, like I said, one of my absolute favorites. But this sock has beads, which is my first beading. They're really subtle. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're kind of neutral colored beads. But it has a double gusset heel, so you can kind of see how you almost have like a little bump for your heel. This sucks up in my arch, and I have a little bit of a higher arch, so the sock kind of cinches around that part of my foot, and it fits fabulously. And it's basically two little gussets that they do on the bottom of the foot, and I think it's Turtle Pearl that does it. It's called the double gusset heel, and I learned that one and I fell in love with it. Just really, really one of my favorite heels to do.
And you can't change the heel or anything about the pattern when you're on there.
No modifying.
No modifying.
No modifying.
I heard that. I heard that. Loud and clear.
Anything. And and if you do, if you make a mistake on something and you turn your finished pair in and they catch that mistake, you got to rip back and fix it.
Oh yeah, so that's something. So when you turn it in, like, how do you turn it in, and how do they critique your socks of saying like you met all the requirements for that sock?
Right. So with each pattern, you're told what the requirements are. If it's a number of repeats that you have to do, or if it's the finished foot size that you have to knit to. So everybody knows what the requirements are, and then sometimes they'll ask you to put markers at certain repeat counts.
Oh yeah, that's what this one was. I remember I had to put markers.
Yeah, markers throughout. And then, like on this one, it was a certain amount of squares that everybody had to have. and you take pictures and you send an email with the link to your Ravelry page.
Because you do have to have a Ravelry page for every project.
You do have to have a
Sockmadness.
Ravelry. Yep, Ravelry page for every project, and then they use the timestamps on the email because sometimes it gets down to that close
Right.
Wow.
for people to make it through.
So you're really like racing. Like I finished the sock, now I gotta take a picture and I have to send it. Like you're also kind of like not only racing to finish the sock, but you're racing to get your email in because you
Yes.
want that time.
Yep, and I have stayed up until the wee hours of the morning, finishing a pair because there were only 2 slots left on my team for these actually. So
For the colorway.
for my little colorwork farmyard socks, that was I think 2:30 in the morning knit, which is a challenge. And then I took the picture, submitted it, and by the next morning when I woke up, the team was full.
Yeah.
So
So good thing you did
So
that.
if I had not done that, I would not have made it through that round.
Wow.
Yeah, which it's the only time I've done that. I don't know if I would do it again because that was pretty hard.
But I'm sure it was really satisfying when you woke up in the morning and then
And
you
you
Oh
made it.
yeah, I was super happy about it. But
So you kind of
I think
also
you'll
need to
do
have.
it again if you need to.
Yeah.
You'll do it again.
maybe.
I say like you also kind of need to have a little bit of a competitive edge to do this. Like you have to be a little competitive to be like I want to be.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not just like oh I'm just here to knit and have fun and get patterns. Like no,
No.
you want to like.
No, you're like.
Well, yeah, that's what I say. If you're not
It's like a mix of both, kind of.
if you're not keen on the competitive
Yeah.
part, you probably would not have a fun time.
Yeah.
But the teams each get their own forum, so there's a lot of chatter that happens there back and forth.
Last year it was monkey names, wasn't it?
It was, I don't know that they were all monkeys, were they? I don't think
Mine was
so.
a monkey.
I was a monkey as well. My team last year was FU. That was inadvertent. They didn't plan that, but that's the team I was on. It was Team F, which was one of the faster because Team A was the fastest. So I was towards that end of the alphabet, which worked out okay. I didn't make it terribly far last year, but I also traveled during it, so that was kind of tricky. One of the other reasons I love socks because they're such good travel projects.
Right.
Yeah, they really are. Is there like a winner that's mostly from one, like the person from Texas usually always wins, or the
Yeah,
person-
the Finnish knitters,
Norwegian.
they usually take it home because they're ridiculously fast. It's just amazing. And we joke about sneezing out socks.
Yeah.
Because, oh, I'm done. So usually it is someone that is Finnish. They're just it's lightning
From
fast.
Finland.
Yeah.
But last year, one of the people that I know on an online forum won it from Wisconsin. So
That's
I think
pretty
I know
awesome.
that girl.
yeah,
I think I follow her on Instagram.
and
Oh, what's her name?
Hobular.
Yeah, Holbuar.
She's got some serious bragging rights now.
She's got some serious bragging rights, and she's quick, obviously, because that was her first year competing.
Oh my
What?
gosh, that's
I
crazy!
didn't know that. I thought she'd
I'm
be
pretty sure. I don't know.
God, that's even more a serious bragging rights of like, this is my first year doing this, and I won.
Yeah, I think it
Wow.
was her first year doing Sockmadness. I don't know for sure now that I say that, but I think it was.
What if you do it 2 years in a row and you win 2 years in a row? Like, what is that? That's like.
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah,
Because you might win again.
Since you've been doing it, have the same person won 2 years in a row, or it's usually always somebody different?
I don't believe so. In the last couple of years that I've been doing it, I don't believe it's been the same person.
I feel like I would want to defend my title.
I think
I think Danni should do it because she's kind of got the competitive bug right there.
she is competitive.
Perfect title.
But yeah, I think it's definitely. There are some people that knit from the time they're tiny kids like you.
Yeah.
And there are others that don't pick it up until they're a lot older, like me.
I feel like if I won, especially 2 years in a row, I'd want to make like a wrestling knitted belt. Like I won Sockmadness.
Alright, you're hilarious.
or like a medal. Like I'll walk into a yarn store and be like, I won Sockmadness 2 years in a row. Look at my medal.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, well then I think Danny should do it next year or this year, but you have to.
Oh, I won't be able to finish this year.
Okay, well then next year.
Oh.
I'll hold you up to it.
I have to repair. I have to make sure all my whips are in place. That
You can just set them aside.
no, I need certain
Just
things I
set
need to
'em
have
aside.
like. But I think maybe next year that will be like a huge goal is to knit Sockmadness. I mean, I said that last year. So the fact that I said that last year, I need to actually do it next year.
Okay.
Because then it's 2 years in a row, and that's lame if I don't actually do it.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to do All About Kathy, which has really been all about Kathy right now. But we're
But
gonna,
it was more like about something
But
else.
it's more, yeah. But
So-
we're gonna do. She's gonna do what's in the oven and what's on the table and what she's craving for and desserts.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini AreYouKnitWorthy podcast for her.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like I'm hogging a lot, but
No, but you totally deserve it. Like I think people want to see what you're up to.
so basically,
What's in the oven?
Yep. What's in the oven? This is one of the Sockmadness warm-up patterns. Continuing in our theme.
That is so pretty.
Again, a colorway that maybe is a tiny bit out of the box for me, but
Tiny.
this is Felici Knit Picks in the colorway is Pinata. And it really is like pinata colored. This one is one I'm really liking the pattern. It's got tiny little bobbles at the top, which are really fun. And
so cute.
yeah, tiny little bobbles. But this one has a really interesting heel construction too. So it looks kind of silly, like a duckbill. It has a tiny little mini gusset on the side, and it's done with wrap and turn, the shadow wraps, and fits like a charm. Looks kind of silly, but fits really, really good. So another heel that I learned just off of this that I might do again, because it's a very nice, and I'm picky about heel fits.
Yeah.
So this one has been really, really good. So that's what's in the oven right now.
Nice.
And I have to have that finished before
Yeah,
Sockmadness
could you show
starts.
us your project bag? Is this a big waffle?
Yeah, that's a baby pink waffle
Awesome.
with the tiny little.
You open it and you have your project here. And are you one of those that knits on the go? Like, do you walk in it?
I do not walk in that. I am no. Sorry, I know.
Not part of that club.
Not cool. No, I might try and learn, but
Yeah, because we're about to organize the second one.
I tend to knit stuff that I have to look at though. So I'm afraid that
You
I
need to
would-
knit
Well, yeah,
vanilla
but you
sock.
can have vanilla sock or something that you can just...
Right, that's what I'd have to do.
Yeah.
Just something that I don't have to stare at.
Yeah.
Because I did teach myself how to knit without looking, but only on stockinette that I can go around and around it. So that was the deal there.
And what's on the table?
So recently finished, within the last week, is my Zweig. This one is my first fingering weight sweater. This is the Tot Le Matin that I got up at Black Mountain here for the variegated. And this is some Sweet Georgia Tough Love sock, and the colorway here is Swamp Water. Really like the way the combo went together, and it fits so well. I knit a medium for me. And
That's really pretty.
I am loving it because it's the first sweater that I can actually wear here in South Carolina without boiling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to tell people you are from the north.
I am. I'm originally from
So-
Michigan, so when I came down here, I was knitting sweaters in worsted weight, thinking that made sense.
But I think a Mexican can pull that off.
A sweater in worsted weight down here?
I think so.
Maybe. I have one that I love. I did the Lady Shenley that is also on my Rav page. That is in Cascade 220, the worsted, and I can only wear that a handful of days down here a year. So this one I feel like I'm going to get a ton of use out of because it really is
Light.
a perfect lightweight, and then of course the lace work makes it
Yeah.
kind of open and airy too. So
Nice. Show us something else. Well, I can show you this. You made this.
I did.
And this is the Tonics. What's the name of this pattern?
That is the combinatoric.
Combinatoric.
That was a mystery knit along. I absolutely love the way this FO turned out.
I want to make this. I love it.
Gotta flip it around. You're backwards.
Oopsie.
There you go. This one is, this blue is an Araucania. I forget the name of it. But love this, obviously. It is my colorway. This is the lovely Monica's Mexico City, but with the stellina in it. So it's got sparkle, which I am
shiny monkey base.
also absolutely fascinated by lately. So
yeah, because you don't knit with a stellina much, do you?
no, this was the first time ever using it.
Yeah.
And I just really loved the way this project came out. I loved
love
the
it.
progression of the lace panels and how they kind of all developed on each other as it went through. It just was a really, really pleasant mystery knit along. Because sometimes
I have this pattern, I think. I just need to do it.
Yeah, I think sometimes mystery knit alongs can be really
deceiving.
yeah, you
To
might
say
not
the
love what you end up with.
I have one of those in my list.
So, you know, it happens, but
And I'm not going to talk about it.
this one was one that I just really, really loved.
Yeah, it's
Mexico
cute.
City really goes with like everything.
I swear, it does. That 100%. Mexico City just kind of,
Like,
it's the perfect neutral.
it is.
Show us what you're wearing, Danny. Because that's also Kathy's.
Yeah, so this
Project.
one is called Rock the Casbah. And it is my first foray into mosaic knitting. So really, really wanted to try this technique.
Is mosaic different than stranded?
Yeah. So if you look, it's a combination. Here, drop it so you can see this part. It's a combination of slip stitches
Oh, okay.
and color work.
I see.
So really fun technique. This yarn here that I used in the mosaic was one that we could not make work. Friend of mine, Lauren, was trying to use it in a sweater and it was pooling really badly in kind of an unflattering way. So wanted to try and find a way that we could break up the pooling and still show it off because it's still a cool colorway with the purples and the browns.
It's so pretty. Like, it looks beautiful.
It's
And-
actually really cozy to wear too. That I've been wearing it.
Yeah, it's all Tosh Merino light.
Nice. And I have to say, Kathy is one of those persons that will find a place for the yarn. I think, like, I don't know.
I try.
You're really good at doing, like, coming up with a way to make the yarn, how do you say, bloom? Or,
Sing.
yeah. Because, like, this one, I want to show this, because this one of my first hand-dyed experiments. And I think I was still into doing it with food coloring. And I hated it. Like, it came out and I was like, yeah, I don't think this is something I'm going to be doing. Because I was kind of embarrassed by it. And she saw it by mistake, probably. I don't think I went and showed it to you. Or maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
How I got my hands on it, but I did.
But she did. And she put it next to Merino. No, what is this? Madeline Tosh. And when she said, oh, I'm going to make a hat with Madeline Tosh, I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, poor Madeline Tosh is going to be right next to my ugly yarn. But look at this. It's so pretty. Like, now I see it and I love it. So I think you have that gift of, you know, she takes out her wand and... like, you know how the princess kisses the frogs and turns them into a prince? That's what she does with yarn.
I think I got some of that color stuff from my grandmother and my mom both. Really artistic ladies who painted and crafted and did all of that stuff, and kind of putting stuff together, colors for me is just really super fun.
Well, when I did What the Fade, we had a good time
We did.
with that.
Yeah.
Laying everything on the floor.
Yeah, actually, for What the Fade, you helped me put out my kits. And
Oh yeah.
I sold some kits on online with my yarn, and I called her because I was working with them, and I was like, Kathy, I need you, just please come. And I think we had a lot of fun putting them together with, you know, I had colors, and she helped me pick out some of them, and the one she actually liked the best was the one I liked the best, and I had then my test knitter made it, and it's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So if you have questions with colors, I don't know if she's gonna help you, but
I try to help.
So what do you have? What are you craving for?
So my current obsession, I think, is a better way to put it. I bought one of the Blue Moon Fiber Arts eclipse gradients. So I got that set, and this is the set, and I am putting it with a Miss Babs, but this is the way the gradient goes.
Oh my god, that's so pretty.
I am in love with it, and I want to make somehow, and I'm struggling with the pattern choice, partially because I'm so in love with the yarn. I don't know if anybody else has that issue, but
You're gonna ruin your yarn.
you love the yarn so much that you can't find anything that feels good enough to make.
Right.
You haven't found anything pattern worthy yet.
Right. Is it pattern worthy?
Yeah.
Are you yarn worthy pattern? So this is the Miss Babs that I got. I picked this up at SAF. It's a colorway called Lighthouse, and it's the Estrelita
So pretty.
that has the sparkle, which
Just keep holding it over there. So
yeah. Which I think I might put it on this end, so it's a transition, and we go from dark to light. I'm also considering buying another full skein of this darkest color.
And it is a single ply.
Yeah, this is their Featherlight.
I love single ply.
I didn't even, when I was looking on it, I didn't even think it was single ply. I didn't,
Yeah.
because sometimes you can like really see that something's single ply right away, but this you didn't. This is nice.
So I'm trying to make it into maybe a sweater that fades from like the shoulder area, the light blue, down to the dark grayish
so nice.
black at the bottom. But I'm, like I said, working through, trying to find the pattern, trying to find something that, you know, is worth it, basically. Worthy of the yarn.
Of unskeinin it.
Right. Lining it up and actually knitting with it.
It is so pretty.
But I've had
Do
it.
you wind these on your...
I do. I wind them all up using the
I know. Oh,
Swift.
okay. Because I'm weird like this, but when it comes to a mini skein, I wind it by hand.
Really?
Yeah.
I like to see the little cakes.
Yeah, exactly. And then I line them up.
I like the balls. I like the tiny little balls. I don't know why. I'm
Yeah.
weird.
I make them all in the little cakes and arrange them by the gradient. And then I paint my nails to match.
Oh yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Oh,
that's
we
like
need to put her Instagram because she's got an Instagram picture of her bag with her nails just made. It's so pretty.
it's almost like an athlete like ritual. I'm gonna paint my nails to
That's
match
right.
my project
Right.
before I start.
Before I cast on, I paint my nails in a coordinating color to the yarn. It's just part of my pregame. I don't know, it's just a thing that I started doing over the last couple of years. So
It's fun. What about what you're wearing right now? What is that?
this one is one of the Amba O'Brien patterns. It's Zamaya. It's the name of it. And
I think I bragged about that one at Black Mountain last time I went. I was
really, this one, it's a gradient, a really subtle gradient of
yeah,
the
I really
blues.
had a hard time finding out which one was.
Yeah, once I got them scanned, or
Right.
I did my little trick of the tiny cakes, I
Mhm.
couldn't arrange them because they were so close to each other.
Would a black and white picture help you, or did you do that and just didn't?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. There was a couple that in the middle were really, really hard. So, and you can tell, like, this is the darkest end and this is the lightest end. There's just not a lot of transition there to work with. But, yeah, really loved this pattern.
It's so beautiful.
Loved the lace section at the end and through the middle, the little sections of lace that break it up. Was a really fun knit, and it is very long. So I always wear it like this because it's super long if I don't. I'd have to keep wrapping it.
Yeah. It's nice.
But yeah, I like that colorway as well.
So cute.
Do you have any little desserts that you want to share with us?
So, because I have a ever-growing number of whips, I am a project bag collector.
Which is good. It's always good.
I always need more, so whenever I see them. And the last two that I bought, I really am enjoying. I got this one from our friend Anita, who is Vintage Tailor on Etsy. And I am obsessed with the fabric. It is little tiny bunnies.
With
and
knitted things on.
they are, well, they have, one has earmuffs, one has a scarf.
Yeah.
There's one that's wearing little socks.
That's so cute.
And the contrasting color here in the inside, and then it has the little wrist strap, which could potentially lead me to walking and knitting.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you have to, like, you have all the
I have
things
the
to do
tools.
it. Yeah, you got the tools.
I have the tools. But yeah, I saw this fabric when she brought it in to knit night one night, and I just loved it. And there's one bunny who's yawning.
Oh my god.
And I just couldn't get over it. I just thought it was too cute. So when she brought back the finished bag, I was like, yeah, I need that.
Yeah, give it here.
And then my other one that I'm also just makes me laugh all the time.
I love that bag.
Is the farm animals doing yoga. So
oh my god, the chicken is my favorite.
This one makes me laugh a lot, and
the cow.
The inside all says Om and Namaste on the
cool.
inside fabric. And this is currently holding my Old Soul.
Oh,
okay.
For your Old Soul knit along.
Oh yeah, because we have that yarn along is still going on.
Yeah.
And
so
yeah.
This is the yarn that I picked, which is the Mellow Mermaid
from
Old Soul. And
is it Old Soul
Fiber Company?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, here's the tag. So it's the Mellow Mermaid, and it is using up leftovers from my spike. So that is
a nice coordinating
what's this
sock.
pattern?
That is the Slippery Slope sock from General Hog Buffer. It is one of my absolute favorite patterns.
Was this a Sockmadness pattern or
no,
not?
That one was published in an Interweave magazine.
Okay.
And I love it. Again, it's the slip stitches, but in this one they cross over in cables and the coordinating colors.
So cool.
Just a really, really fun
I
pattern.
think this is really, really, really nice.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is this General Hog Buffer the same designer that you're doing your window? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that's what's inside that one, but really that's the craving.
If you need a sock pattern, Kathy's the one to ask, because she's the one who told me about the window.
Just ask.
Yeah.
I have a whole giant collection in my library on Rav of patterns I've collected over the years.
Yeah, and also for tutorials and things. I think you've taught me a lot. That shadow wraps thing was very
I know, life-changing.
Yeah.
That's Octopus.
Well, you say life-changing because you probably did it another way before, but for me it was like a first-timer.
Right, so you skipped all of the frustration of a regular wrap and turn.
Yep. I went straight to her and she told me what to do. I did it. It was good.
When I learned that Socktopus's shadow wraps, I do them all that way now. Instead of doing the wrap and turn, it just simplifies it, and it doesn't leave holes for me.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to do it. I don't know how to do it.
The regular wrap and turns left holes, and I used to get really bugged by that.
I did the regular wrap and turn for a sweater, and I remember I was already past that, and you did the shadow wraps. So
yeah, I'll put the link down below in the show notes for those shadow wraps, because I shared that with a friend that's also a dyer, Tanya. She's super sweet, and she couldn't get through the wraps in the Zweig, and I remember that you told me something about it, and I looked it up and sent it to her, and she was very happy with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think that is it, what we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching.
We had a lot of fun just sharing our friend with you a little bit.
Yes. And I'm Danny at Danny Knits on Instagram. And Danny Knits 23 on Ravelry.
And now you can go to her Ravelry.
And now you can go. I'm starting to update it.
So proud.
I had enough people in my ear.
And I'm Monica. I'm Yarn Experiments in Ravelry and on Instagram.
And I'm Kathy, and I'm Moxie Waffles on Ravelry, and on Instagram I am Cat Knits with a Z.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you
It
so
was
much.
so much fun, and she might become like every other.
She'll
time.
be a guest star every once in a while, maybe.
If she wants to. I'm just saying this.
Well, thank you. Bye.
Bye.